G'day and welcome, my name's Cautious Pancake and today I need your help to tell me if this new quest is an idea worth pursuing or if it's as good as an unloaded pipe shotgun in a basement full of zombies. As background, I'm in the process of updating my Trader Quest mod to work for the 1.0 release, and while doing so, I'm also working on adding some new quest ideas. The one I want to talk about today seemed really good to start with, but the more I've been working on it, the less confident I am that it'll be interesting and fun. So I need your help and ideas to make it work, or confirm that I should just bin it and move on. The quest was inspired by Glock9's 2-hour challenge videos from Alpha 20, where he'd load up with gear, pick a random POI, and then have 2 hours to turn it into a Horde base, then fight off the Horde, turning it into a quest. The idea is that the trader's been betting that you will survive the Horde at a particular POI, while some other survivors think that you'll get made into intestinal spaghetti. From there, currently, you can head over to the POI at any time and kick off the quest. The quest then forces the current night to become a Horde night, regardless of the current Horde night settings, and does not change the next scheduled Horde night, essentially adding in an additional Horde night into the game. The intention then is that you spend the remaining time between starting the quest and 10 PM on adding your own fortifications. You can't leave the POI bounds without failing the quest, and the border of the POI is set to just 2 blocks out from the edge, giving a small section to be able to modify the external fence if there is one. Once Horde Night starts, there's also a requirement to kill a certain number of zombies, which increases based on the POI tier. This requirement is intended to ensure players engage with the Horde and don't just knock out the stairs and sit up on the roof. The final quest requirement is to acquire the magical Horde Night Complete ticket, which is a special quest item that automatically appears in the inventory when Horde Night is over. Due to the different number of day and night speed combinations, it wasn't possible to use a timer, and there's no direct quest objective for surviving a Horde Night, so this is the slightly clunky workaround. So that's the basics of the quest, and while I still think it's a pretty interesting idea, there's a bunch of issues that I can see, and here's where I'm hoping you can help me solve them to make this a solid and balanced quest. The following sections will highlight some of the issues or challenges that I see, and I'll also create a corresponding poll linked in the description for each issue, so please visit these and vote after watching the rest of the video to provide your feedback. Issue number 1 is how to manage the number of zombies that need to be killed. For a normal tier 1 clear quest, you'll normally take care of about 10 or so zombies, so I could easily set the number of kills required to 10. But imagine after getting to say day 30 or 40, and then deciding to do a small tier 1 POI quest just for a bit of a challenge, 10 zombies would be way too low to make it interesting. Of course, doing a tier 1 POI on day 30 or 40, you're going to be at a higher game stage, which means more difficult zombies, so maybe it doesn't matter that you're only doing 10 zombies on a tier 1. Unfortunately, I can't see a way to make the quest objective kill count dynamic, at least for the quest objectives that are set in the top right. But I could always remove that as a quest requirement and replace it with a mechanic similar to the one I used in the Infinity Horde series, but obviously without the time stop. This would mean that the number of kills required could be based off game stage or the current player level rather than the POI tier. Then, the token at the end of Horde Night would only be provided if you both survive the Horde Night, stay within the POI, and kill enough zombies. The next issue I'm struggling with is the start time of the quest. Obviously, I can restrict the time of day that you can start the quest and make it similar to the Restore Power quests, and even adjust the time once the quest has been started. As an example, you could replicate the 2-hour challenge by only allowing the quest to be started between 7 and 8 PM, and once the quest was started, change the world time to be 8 PM exactly, giving 2 hours to prepare for the Horde. The issue with that is that then it means that that's all you get. There's no way to change it, so if you wanted to do a tier 5 POI and build something a little bit more ambitious, you won't have time. The current design gives you more freedom, so you can choose to start it at 8 PM if you wanted to, but there's no restriction enforcing it. However, since you can't leave the POI either after starting the quest, if you kick it off too early, you'll potentially be bored and trapped, just waiting for the Horde, which isn't a lot of fun. So another potential approach is that it could also be set up so that tier 1s have 2 hours, tier 2s have 4 hours, and so on through to tier 5s getting 10 hours to prepare. But that might also be a little bit confusing to get your head around to start with. And obviously I could do the opposite of that by reducing the time allowed to build as the tier increases, making tier 5s the biggest challenge both on the size of the POI and the amount of time that you've got to prepare. Adding to that, changing the time when a quest is kicked off on a multiplayer server could be very confusing to those who aren't on the quest, when they suddenly lose an hour of daylight. So the question here is, have I picked the best option by leaving it flexible, or should the quest have a built-in time challenge with a set start time enforcing a restriction on how much time you have to prepare? The third issue of the POI range is a minor concern, but still worth asking. Is the 2-block border around the outside of the POI the right limit? Most vanilla quests are set to 25 blocks, giving you plenty of room to maneuver, but for this one I wanted to ensure that you can't leave the POI and ensure that you have to work within the bounds of the POI to build something defensible. A minor consideration is also that where you can stand to kick off some of the quests can be very close to the edge of the POI, so you need to be careful where you start it from to ensure that you don't instantly fail. Or I might need to add a little bit of a timer to give players enough time to get inside after starting the quest. So this one's fairly easy to change, and I think it looks okay to me where it is at 2 blocks, but let me know what you think. The only other potential option that I probably haven't really considered is to not have this requirement at all, but I think that's too far away from what the quest is trying to achieve. Now I haven't talked about quest reward yet, simply because this is probably the hardest one. What's the appropriate reward for doing an extra Horde night? Is the XP gain from the zombies you kill its own reward? Or should there be something extra from the trader? Maybe just a little bit of extra coin to fit with the theme of the quest, being a bet that you get a split of the winnings. Maybe I could also increase the chance of loot bags dropping, as that provides additional rewards, while at the same time encouraging players to try and kill as many zombies as possible. We all know that loot bags alone on a normal Horde night don't usually give you back as much ammo as what you spent killing the Horde, but maybe with a small increase to the drop chance, that might be a good motivator. The other concern I have with the reward for this quest is that I can't stop people doing this quest on an existing Horde night, so it's a bit of a cheese to kick off the quest on a day that Horde would normally come anyway, as you would potentially be gaining extra rewards for doing something that you would normally have to do anyway. So this is one that I'm really stuck on. If I make the reward and loot pad increase too good, people will always just want to take the quest, at least to replace the existing Horde night, as I don't think that there is a way to stop people starting the quest on the same day that Horde night would normally occur. The last concern is for multiplayer servers. Any quest that suddenly creates a new Horde night when someone on the server starts a particular quest is obviously open for a little bit of abuse and griefing. So while this quest might be good for anyone running a server with just a group of friends on it, it might not work as well on a public server or something similar. I probably don't play enough multiplayer though to know if this would be a deal breaker or still fun in some settings. So that's the idea and the issues that I can see that come along with it. I'd really appreciate your like on this video if you think I should keep working on quest ideas like this, and please check the description below for the links to the polls to answer the questions on these 5 issues. And of course, if you've got any other thoughts on how to make this a better quest, or any other issues that I've not thought of with the quest, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks to my supporters on Patreon as well for their input. Thanks to you for watching this video, and happy questing.